Sydney Sweeney's Friendsgiving costume became the unexpected centerpiece of an entire week filled with laughter, inside jokes, and the kind of carefree energy that celebrities rarely get to enjoy without the world's gaze. It was hot, undeniably so, and the internet immediately fixated on how she managed to take something as bizarre as Dragon from Shrek and turn it into a moment that somehow felt both playful and impossibly seductive. But behind the viral images and cheeky reactions, the weekend itself held a much bigger story, one filled with friendly chaos, emotional undercurrents, a quiet attempt at escapism, and a woman trying to breathe amid a storm of public opinion. Thanksgiving week, for most people, is a time of returning home, reconnecting with family, and leaning into the slower rhythm of the holiday season. For Sydney, it became a rare pocket of time away from endless interviews, scrutinizing headlines, and the heavy pressure that quietly rests on the shoulders of any actor navigating that strange middle ground between rising superstardom and the world's ruthless expectations. So when she stepped away with her closest friends, a small circle she trusts deeply, there was a sense of exhale, of letting go, of shaking off the weight of a year that had demanded so much from her. She documented the trip the way most 20-something women would, through snapshots of small joys, photos at a Disney park, complete with wide grins, pastel colors, and carefree poses that contrasted the intensity of her usual red carpet glam. Quick snaps at a bar, where the lighting was low and frames were filled with half-finished drinks and blurry laughter. A peaceful afternoon by the lake, where she wore almost no makeup, her hair tied back in a loose bun, her eyes softer and calmer than the polished versions fans normally see. These weren't curated press shots or staged promotional photos. They were glimpses, honest, fleeting, unfiltered, but the moment that set the internet on fire came from the Friendsgiving Shrek-themed costume party. It was the kind of idea only a tight-knit group of quirky, movie-loving friends would come up with. Dress as your favorite character from one of the most beloved animated films of all time. Her friends scattered into different roles, a Shrek here, a gingerbread man there, a towering inflatable donkey suit waddling through the room. In the middle of it all was Sydney Sweeney, transformed into Dragon, but not in the typical Halloween store sense. She didn't wear scales or wings or oversized props. Instead, she interpreted the character with her own signature twist, the daring, sexy, tongue-in-cheek style that has become part of her brand, whether she intends it or not. Her costume featured a pair of red horns, a deep-cut top that accentuated her curves, and matching bottoms that revealed almost all of her tone, sculpted backside, mirroring the dramatic, powerful, and sensual nature of Dragon from the film series. It was dramatic yet playful, bold yet so, the kind of outfit only someone comfortable in her skin and confident in her humor could pull off. It wasn't about being sexual for the sake of it. It was about embracing a character known for her fiery aura and transforming it into something fun, imaginative, and truly Sydney. In photos, she posed with someone dressed in a giant inflatable donkey suit, a sight that sent fans spiraling into speculation. Some wondered whether the person inside the suit was Scooter Braun, especially given the recent swirl of rumors tying the two together after they were spotted hanging out. Sydney didn't clarify, and maybe she didn't need to. The ambiguity added to the charm, the mischief, the flirtatious air of the night. There's something undeniably human in the idea of the ultra-famous Euphoria star dancing around at a holiday party, laughing with friends, posing next to an oversized inflatable donkey, and not taking any of it too seriously. One of the most shared moments was a photo of her with a friend dressed as the gingerbread man. Sydney pursed her lips in an exaggerated duck face, leaning in with her leg wrapped around a cardboard cutout of Shrek himself. A pose filled with the kind of chaotic silliness rarely seen from someone who typically appears poised and camera-perfect. There was something deeply refreshing about it. Sydney wasn't trying to be glamorous. She wasn't performing for a red carpet or a press campaign. She was simply being a young woman, enjoying one absurd moment after another in a costume theme so ridiculous that everyone had no choice but to embrace the fun. But beneath that carefree energy was the reality that she was using this time to unwind after a rough month professionally. Her boxing biopic, Christie, had been the target of frustrating criticism after it bombed at the box office. The disappointment lingered in the background, not overshadowing her week but undeniably shaping the emotional landscape she brought into it. For any actor, especially one still establishing her place in Hollywood, the success or failure of a project feels deeply personal. Sydney had poured herself into Christie, the training, the physical transformation, the emotional depth, and to see the film fall flat in the public eye stung far more than she let on. The online commentary that followed the film's release was not gentle. People dissected the box office numbers, questioned the movie's direction, and even criticized her for taking on the role. It wasn't the first time Sydney had dealt with scrutiny, nor would it be the last, but this one cut deeper because the project mattered to her. For someone known primarily for her sensual roles, taking on a gritty athletic biopic was a meaningful stretch, a chance to show another side of herself. When the film failed commercially, there was a feeling of vulnerability, the quiet fear that maybe the industry would hold it against her. So yes, the Friendsgiving getaway mattered, not because of the costumes or the viral pictures, but because they provided her a temporary escape, a chance to feel weightless, unjudged, safe among people who loved her for who she was outside the glare of the spotlight. The lake photos, the Disney snapshots, the chaotic bar scenes, all of them painted the picture of a woman trying to reclaim her joy, piece by piece. In one moment, she was jet skiing across the water in a tiny bikini, her hair whipping in the wind, her laughter echoing across the lake as though she were trying to shake off every negative headline. It was freeing, a reminder that she was still young, still vibrant, still allowed to enjoy life even when her career hit a bump. In another picture, she was sitting at a small outdoor cafe table with Scooter Braun, the two of them leaning in, talking quietly, dressed casually enough to go unnoticed by most strangers. Whether they are dating or simply friends has been a source of constant rumor. But the truth remains locked between them, something Sydney seems determined to protect. She knows how the internet twists every breath she takes. How every man she's seen with becomes a headline, how every friendship becomes a conspiracy theory. So, during this trip, she didn't clarify anything, she didn't deny, and she didn't confirm. She simply lived. And maybe that's what makes people so fascinated with her. Sydney Sweeney exists in a delicate balance between myth and reality, endlessly glamorous yet surprisingly relatable. A Hollywood bombshell with the heart of a down-to-earth, goofy, fun-loving young woman who still giggles at silly costumes and plays along with her friends' wild ideas. She's the kind of celebrity who can deliver a heart-wrenching scene on screen and then, a few hours later, show up to a party dressed as a sexy version of a cartoon dragon without any sense of embarrassment. That duality is magnetic. The costume itself became a metaphor, a mixture of fierce femininity, humor, rebellion, and self-expression. Dragon from Shrek is powerful, intimidating, underestimated, misunderstood, and capable of surprising tenderness. Sydney's interpretation, bold, fiery, and unapologetically sensual, felt like an expression of her own identity, a woman constantly trying to be both strong and soft, desirable yet respected, expressive yet taken seriously. As the week went on, the photos she posted revealed more than just moments, they revealed her emotional landscape. In some images, she looked radiant and carefree. In others, you could sense a gentle exhaustion beneath her smile. The kind that only comes from months of pushing too hard and defending yourself against criticism that feels deeply unfair. Her friends, sensing all of it, seemed determined to surround her with love, distraction, and laughter. They teased her, hyped her up, made her the center of harmless jokes, included her in every silly photo, and made sure she felt grounded.